You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Preachers of L.A. After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Preachers of L.A. After Show.
I love this song. Go ahead, sing it, Meg. Meg can sing. Go ahead.
You want to hear me?
I want to hear it. Go ahead.
Jesus, 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 Jesus,
Okay,
Jesus,
we'll
Jesus.
stop there.
Oh, that's not it?
We'll take you to some choir lessons.
Girl, I've been in the choir my whole life. I was on praise team.
Mm-hmm.
I was.
Welcome to AfterBuzz. I'm your host, Fallon Mercedes, with my beautiful co-host, who may not know how to sing, but does know how to host.
My granny
Miss
said I could
Megan.
sing.
In the shower. All right, so this is season 1, episode 4 of Preachers of L.A. Again, I'm Fallon Mercedes. You can find me online on Twitter, on Instagram, @FitWithFallon. Where can they find you, Meg?
Always on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, @MegScoop, like scoop of ice cream, because I like ice cream.
Yes.
Actually, I have the scoop, that's why. And scoop of the show today.
Oh, we definitely have the scoop of the show today.
Right.
There's a lot going on coming off of the Tea Party last week,
Right.
which had a lot going on. Now we have, I think this is one of the biggest episodes yet. What do you think?
Right. And I'm so glad finally that what I said for the last episode came true, which was the getting married before the actual wedding for Deitrick and Dominique.
You said they're not going to do it, though.
No, I said what I wanted. Like, that's what I wanted
You
to
said
happen.
they weren't going to do it, but they did.
No, but what I'm saying is because I kept saying, why don't they just get married? You know, it
Yeah.
just makes more sense. So I'm glad that they finally did that.
Yes, I so agree with you. There was so much tension. I felt like every time they were meeting, they were
Right.
like, you know, I'm sick of leaving. I'm sick of being apart from you. So it's nice to see that it happened.
Right.
This episode, we see Bishop Gibson kind of have or call a intervention for his sister. She's
Right.
been addicted to drugs for a long time. And he
Sean.
finally wanted to get her out of that. And then also Bishop McClendon, I didn't know it was this serious, but, you know, he was having some security issues before, but I didn't know he was getting death threats. What do you think about that?
Right. The crazy part is that this happens a lot with prominent preachers because they're polarizing. Sometimes they say things that people don't agree with, or there's some extremists who feel completely on the other side of what they feel, so that for some reason they feel like I'm going to kill you. And a lot of preachers, especially the ones that are on TV, sometimes they have to have that security with them. And Bishop McClendon even tells Farnsworth Bentley, he says, you know, I was talking to my attorney who said he has A-list celebrities that don't have to have this kind of security around them.
Yeah,
true.
it's kind of crazy. And it was cool to see Farnsworth. We wanted to know where the last time I seen him, he was, you know, helping out Diddy, and now he has his own family.
Right.
He has a brand new child. I guess we'll talk about that first. McClendon sits down with Farnsworth and his wife. I guess his wife went to his church, was a member for a while, and they just had a baby. And I thought this was interesting. I don't know if you caught it, but McClendon said to him, I knew that baby was coming before you guys even did. I guess he had prophesized it.
Probably, yeah.
What do you think about that? About when preachers prophesize things or see things that have not come about yet?
Well, I don't have a problem with prophecy, but I do have the one thing about prophecy that you learn in the word is that you have, if it comes true, then you know that that's a real prophet, because there's a lot of false prophets in the world that will say one thing and it's not true, or they might say something to you that sounds good, and especially in Old Testament times, you'll hear people say things that were like, oh, the Israelites will get out of bondage in 2 years. And then there's another prophet that's like, no, the Lord said 70. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they're typically the bearer of bad news and people don't like it, but it's the truth. So the one thing about prophecy is that it is tested over time, and you will know if it's true or not when the time that the time frame that was given, if it comes to pass, then you know that is a true prophet. So I'll give it to him. If he told them that, we don't know the full extent of the prophecy, but he said he knew the baby was coming. He told them, I guess. So, hey.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I also found it interesting that they both showed up wearing almost the exact same outfit.
So funny. Like, who all has orange pants and navy blazer?
I don't have orange pants at all.
And then they're going to wear them at the same time. You know what I mean? That was funny.
Yeah.
I think one was a little more red than the other, but still, it's funny.
They had a nice little sit down. They were talking about trying to balance out family life and work life and being a man and, having to go to work and travel. And McClendon, that's something that he knows. He's been traveling all over the world for his ministry. Right. And we do see a little bit of Priscilla this episode and his children.
But hold on, I want to say something about that. When they're having that talk, he does tell Farnsworth that he said the balance that you're in the pursuit of, you never really achieve. And I think that's good to say about fathers in general. He's like, we're the ones that typically go out and we make the money and we always feel like we're not there enough. And he's like, you'll never achieve that, but just know that you're still a good father. You're trying to do that. You're providing for your family. But just because you feel that way, don't think that you're not achieving. That's normal. You're just going to always feel like that.
And I feel as women, we go through that too. And I think Christy kind of spoke upon this in a previous episode. She said she never feels like she has enough time where she can do everything. And I feel like both the men and the women in this show, that's something that they struggle with, doing what they do best, but also trying to balance their family lives. And I think it's awesome to see that in this show, that we get to see these preachers trying to do it all and seeing their families. And we did see Bishop McClendon's family. I'm in love with his little boy. Isn't he adorable?
His sons are so handsome, and the little boy is just like, okay, can we order pizza? Yeah, like he doesn't care.
Who cares about your death threats, Dad?
Right.
Yeah. Let's just
like
get
a
some
kid.
pizza.
And his mom's like, you would have pizza 3 times a day if you could. He's like, no, I'm not.
And then Cameron, his son, he's also his assistant. So it surprised me that he wasn't really aware of this. But I was assuming that maybe Bishop McClendon didn't want to let Cameron know, because that is his son, what was really going on and how extreme these threats were getting.
Or maybe, I took it as, I think Cameron did know. Maybe he knew some of it because of course, he's his assistant. And so he knows where his dad is. If he's like, he had that meeting with his security. So I think Cameron might know, but I think for the sake of the cameras, they probably needed to say, Cameron, sit down here with your brother because your dad's going to have to come and talk to you guys. So I don't know, because he didn't seem too surprised when his dad told him that. He just kind of was like, okay.
Yeah, that he might have been filled in. But I noticed in the security meeting too, he wasn't there. And usually you have your assistant everywhere you go. So I kind of felt like maybe he didn't want him to know the extent until he had to sit down with him. Did you catch anything in the meeting with all of his security that was noticeable?
Well, I would say this. They're all very well dressed. Shout out to everyone on Bishop McClendon's staff. They know either the cameras is rolling and they're told, get your clothes right, or they're always fly. I don't know. Either way, y'all look good at that church. I'm just saying.
They definitely do. I guess I'm very detail oriented and paying attention to detail, but I noticed when Bishop McClendon walked in the room, everybody stood up. And
correct. Yes.
And then he said, okay, you may be seated. And that's something that I would expect from the president or a judge, but it was interesting to see the bishop handle his security like that.
Well, there's some churches that do that. I think that's it's a little more formal than I guess what I would be used to in church settings that I've been in. But there are churches that are like that, and assuming from him the way he runs his staff, they do treat him kind of like the president of the United States.
It seemed like very presidential. I would like to go to his church one day to see how he does. I've never seen it on TV. Have you?
No.
Yeah, I have to check it out. But yeah, that's
do you think that that's wrong though, to have that level of respect or that kind of level of leadership where your people who work for you stand up when you walk through the room?
I don't think it's wrong, but it's something that I've never seen before. I've never been to a church where you stand up when a bishop walks in, so it's just different. I don't think it's wrong, but I think if his wife and his kids were standing up when he walked into the room, I'd say, okay,
weird.
That's a little weird.
That's a little weird.
Yeah, maybe that's just how he runs his business, and he likes to have authority, and he's in charge. But you guys out there watching, listening, and what do you guys think about that?
Hit us up on iTunes. Let us know, and make sure you subscribe subscribe to this podcast. Also, give us 5 stars.
5 stars.
And tell your friend and your friend's friend and your mama's friend and your usher's friend and,
usher.
and the motherboard's friends about the podcast as well.
And, what do you guys think about, if you go to church, or do you have these conversations with your friends at church? How do they feel about the show? Let them know about our podcast. Have them watching. We love everybody who has been commenting. I had made a reference last week, and it was nice to get a nice little comment back. And
From
it's
Logan. Shout out to Logan on YouTube.
Yes.
Who writes messages to us. Hi.
Yeah, it's nice to see that you guys are watching and responding, and we love it all. So please chime in on us. We will respond. If you guys want to call in, you could call in. You want to come in the show? If you're in LA, we'll have you on the show.
Come
too.
on in, yes. So as far as one thing about Bishop McClendon that I want to note about the meeting that he had was that he does mention that there was someone who had a gun.
Oh,
he was talking about that. Someone brought a gun to service.
That's okay. So Now, I know I said before it was okay for Bishop Gibson to go to the hood with his gun, but I don't know about people going to church with their gun.
I just think there's a time and a place for everything, and I don't believe that church is the correct place to have a gun. But the person that was bringing a gun obviously was not in the right mind and came in a stalker, threatening manner. But in that instance, do you think it's okay for security to have guns on them in church?
Security, yes.
Okay.
I think if they're licensed, I think it's different when you've gone through training and you're there to protect someone. Right. But I think if you're a random person walking in with a gun, I don't trust that. That doesn't sit right with me. Right.
And I think the same thing. I think if there's security, if you have security, obviously there's a reason. If you're paying people to keep you safe, no one's just going to hire security for no reason. You feel threatened in some way, shape, or form. So I agree with the fact that he has security, and if they had guns, I'm not saying that they do because he doesn't make mention if his security has guns in church. But I would understand, especially if you've had somebody that's threatening your life. And he is correct when he says, my job is to protect my family. That's my number one job that God has given me. I have to make sure they're protected at all costs. So I agree with him. Protect your family. I agree. You should have the security that you need to keep them safe.
I agree. I so agree. Let's talk about Mr. Dietrich.
Dietrich bought a house.
He had quite the few surprises in this episode.
Right.
He had some things up his sleeve, and he went to Faye in the first scene, and he said, hey, I have a surprise for your daughter. I just bought her not just a house, a 7-bedroom, 6-bathroom house.
Switch that, honey. It's 6 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms.
Really?
Yes, and when the real estate agent said that, he said that first, and then the real estate agent said that, and I'm like, why would you need 7
more
bathrooms than you have rooms? I guess because there's, like
a guest bathroom
when people walk in the house, you don't want them using your regular bathroom.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, that's excessive, but I like it.
That is a lot of rooms and a lot. I didn't know Dietrich was doing it big like that.
Girl, yes, he got all them awards.
Gospel awards.
Stella awards.
Right?
Apparently, I didn't know they was paying like that for Stella Awards. Hey, no, I'm just playing. But I mean, with all of his, of course, with his album sales, and of course being on the show, obviously more people, he gets more exposure. More people are downloading his music. So yeah.
But this is his first season. He got that house before the show even aired.
Well, I'm saying, girl, he probably had to get them checks before them checks from the show before it aired. Who knows?
Well, I think it's amazing that he knows his wedding is coming and that he already planned, let me get this house for my family. And he even told Faye, you can live in the house too, which was sweet.
I love it. Because how many guys really want their mother-in-law to stay with them? Not a whole lot, right?
Exactly.
And that goes to show you that's one thing that I remember an older lady told me. She was like, a man makes room for his wife. And I was like, well, explain that more. She was like, a man makes sure he has stuff for his wife. One of those being a house. Now, does it have to be a 6-bedroom, 7-bathroom house? No. But as long as there's a place, as long as he's in the mentality of, I have to take care of my family. My wife needs a home. My children need somewhere to live. I need to make sure I have some type of job so I have an income to support them. It's just a mindset. So I think this goes to show you he's definitely in a mindset. He's ready to be a husband. He's already a father. He wants to take care of his family, and he wants to do it well.
Yeah. I'm proud of you, Dietrich. Good job. You did very well.
Oh my gosh, in that closet.
He's so sweet too because when he surprised Dominique, he had her close her eyes.
Right.
She didn't know what was going on. She's like, Dietrich, what are you doing?
We in a ditch. She trying to kill me.
She was so scared. And then she gets out the car and she sees this. It looks like a mansion to me.
Right.
It's huge.
It's beautiful.
And she walks through the house and she must have felt like a princess.
Right. I felt like a princess.
Yeah,
Especially
me
when
just
I was
watching,
envisioning my own closet looking like that because that closet was fabulous.
Yes, positive thoughts. Put it out there.
Right,
we'll
right.
all get that house and that closet. But yeah, so he finally brought her into the home and he kind of basically said, God has blessed us out of order.
Right.
And, we did things out of order, but God has blessed us out of order. And, we're getting things in order. And I feel like we should go ahead and get married so we can live in this house.
Right. And I think that's really noble of him to say because he's like, I don't want to come into this big house by myself. I refuse to live here by myself. So let's just go get married basically let's elope before the wedding. And this is what I was saying. Why don't y'all just do that?
Yes.
Because it makes sense. Your family, you're definitely going to get married. Who cares what other people think? This is between you and your spouse. Let's just go ahead and make it official so we can start living our lives. The wedding, that can just be a party. You know what I'm saying? And I get what he's saying. While we can't really tell people because then people feel a little cheated. Like, I don't really want to go to your wedding. You're already married. I don't want to get you gifts. It kind of cheapens the feel. I get it. But at the same time, okay, don't tell them then. Fine, whatever. Think what you want to think. The Lord knows the truth at the end of the day. I don't care if you think that we're shacking because you don't know we're married. Guess what? I don't really care. Talk to the Lord about it. Don't tell me.
And I love that they actually got married in Faye's backyard.
Yeah, and it's so good that he asked. He was like, "Can we get married in your backyard?" And Faye, of course, is like, "I guess, yeah." I love Faye. I love Faye. I want to go to Faye's house.
Yeah, she's so. Again, she's that hard on the outside, soft on the inside, just gonna give you tough love. But she was so cute because she was so dressed up at their wedding. She had eyeshadow on. I was like,
"It's a wedding, girl. You got to get dressed up." What you mean?
She was so excited to give her daughter's hand in marriage away. And even when the minister was like, who would like to give, Dominique away? She jumped right in, was like, me, yes, I'll give her away.
Right. I will. I do.
Yeah. And Dietrich was like, dang, Faye, okay, we'll take her. They didn't have real rings. They used yarn, which I guess it was, they improvise. I mean, I'll take yarn if you just bought me a huge house with 6 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms.
And they're going to get rings, at the actual ceremony. So I guess that's cool because that leaves something for them to still do at the ceremony, which is the real rings.
I think it's great that they did this on their own, but they're still going to do the big thing.
Right.
My parents, they've been married for a long time, but they went to City Hall and they never did the big thing. Yeah. So it's going on 30 years now that they've been married. So they're actually going to have a real big wedding.
Aww,
so my mom's emailing me wedding gowns.
That's so cute.
So I think it's great that they're going to have both because, some people, when they don't do it that way, they feel like they're missing out. But some people, it's cool.
Right. And he says to Faye as well, he says, we're still going to have the big wedding because I want to do that for Dominique. And I want her to have that. And that's so sweet because they could have just eloped, saved a lot of money and said, forget it. But he's like, she's never been married. She wants to get married. I want her to have that. But I also want us to live in our home. It doesn't make sense that we're not in a home that obviously we're paying for. So we should just go ahead and make it official and get married. And it's really cute.
Yeah, it was really cute. When he kissed her, he got a little excited.
She said, "You moaning?"
I'm like, geez, Dietrich is fainting. He wants his lady.
Well, that's okay because they married now, honey. They're the Haddons now.
Yep.
Okay.
No
shame.
shame.
You know what? I wonder if the next episode, if they're going to, how like at the beginning they show everybody's name.
Yeah. They're going to change it.
I'm hoping they put Dominique Haddon on it. That would be nice.
They probably will.
They better.
Yes.
If not, I'm going to have to ask someone who knows some people from the company. Production company.
We'll work that out. We'll make sure it's in there. All right, so let's move on to Bishop Gibson.
Okay.
We see him sit down with his family. We see his mama. We see his sister, his wife, and they called kind of an emergency intervention. I guess it's been a while that his sister had been on drugs. 16 years she's been addicted, and he kind of opened up in his confessional and was like, I feel like it's my fault my family is addicted to drugs because I was addicted to drugs, and he feels like he led them down that path, and now that their family has this curse, this addiction, and he's trying to break it. What did you think of the emergency intervention?
I thought it was definitely needed because he did say that Sean has been on drugs for 30-some years, and Tari, his other sister, said that the last time she saw Sean looked like she was on her way to the deathbed.
Yeah.
And she did say, she's been a functioning drug addict for all these years. She's been fine, but she just looks bad. So we got to do something. So I can appreciate that they love her enough that they're strategizing, and that to me was amazing. How literally Bishop Gibson is like, okay, you two go in and get Sean. I'm basically gonna distract the homies and the OGs.
He's like, I'm gonna bring my Glock, you know, just in case.
And he's like, y'all don't really understand this world. I get this world, but at the same time, I gotta go get my sister. I need some help. Y'all gonna help me? Cool. And I love that. I love that. Sometimes we forget, and we get so far removed when we get saved, as people say, that we forget that there's people who need our help, even in our own families, and that we gotta go through whatever to make sure that we help save them. We can't go help save other people. We're not even saving people in our own family.
Yes. And he mentioned that the house that she's renting a room in, it's called the Shooting Gallery, and I guess that means that everybody's shooting up in that house. Everybody's on, it's a dope house. Everybody's on drugs. Right. So I imagine it's probably not that easy to go in there and just take somebody.
Right.
They might feel like, hey, what are you doing? They got cameras. Is there going to be cops?
Right.
He was saying there's OGs driving down the neighborhood, and he's not so much worried about the OGs, but more the Pyrus, the younger gangsters, because he has respect with the older gangsters. But
I wouldn't say the Pyrus necessarily, because I don't know what gang that's a specific gang, but because I don't remember, did he say Pyrus? Because I don't want us to put that out there. Girl, they come after us. We do live in LA.
I don't remember, but I know that he knows the older gangsters, and he feels like he's respected that way. But it's the younger ones he's not sure of, and that's what he's worried about. And I can imagine, being a bishop, going into the hood, going into this crack house, having your mother, your sister, and your wife.
Not his mother. He didn't bring his mom.
He didn't bring. Oh yeah, you're right. She didn't bring the mom.
No, they can't have Miss Shirley out in there because they know tell them what's gonna pop off.
Yeah,
Shirley can't come.
She was at the meeting. I remember seeing her at the meeting, but she wasn't in the car. But the mom, the sister and the wife. That's still you have two women with you in a dangerous area. Two women that you really care about in this dangerous. I'm surprised he didn't call homies to help him out, but I guess he wanted his sister to feel comfortable when they did get her in a setting, and they brought her to Roscoe's, sat her down, and kind of told her, this is what we want for you.
Right, but I think it shows how much love he has for his sister, that he's willing to put his other sister and his wife in harm's danger. And he also said, if they don't respect me, they will respect the law.
Yeah.
So we going to get her out of there, whether we got to do it or we got to call the cops or something. Of course, that wouldn't have been good. Yeah. That's kind of extreme, but I get why they did that. And when they do see Sean's already outside. Yeah. But she tells him that she's dope sick, that she's, I guess the drugs are starting to have a worse effect on her body. I can imagine she says she's done crack, heroin, alcohol, and prostitution at the same time, basically. So I can see that it's probably taking a toll on her body. Yeah. But I will say his sister Sean looks amazing to have been doing drugs for 32 years. Yeah. Does she look like she's on drugs to you?
She did. I feel like you to me, you can always tell in the eyes. Like, I had a family member, somebody who was close, who was on drugs and ended up committing suicide because of the drugs.
Sorry.
Yeah. And when you look in their eyes, you can't even explain it.
There's a sadness. There's a darkness.
There's something in the eyes that you can tell. And to me, you can see it in her eyes. And then you can tell in the way Sean was acting.
Yeah.
And she couldn't sit still. And Ron even explained that, once you're on drugs, you get to the point where your body can't even act normal if it doesn't get the drug.
Yeah, he was saying you no longer get drugs to get high, you get drugs to just live normally.
That's what she was going through. She was like, oh shoot, she needs another hit of whatever she was taking, because she was going crazy, her body was going crazy. And it came off that she was being rude, and like she just didn't seem like she was all the way there. And
she's on drugs. I mean, that's what that heroin does. The heron, as some country people say, heron does to your brain cells, man.
What did you think when she was on the phone with the drug dealer, and here Ron and the family is here trying to help her, and the drug dealer comes to Roscoe's, and you know, he was saying something in her ear, but Ron kind of pointed out, you just got something from him. You know, he probably came here so you could get your fix.
Right. And he says he had about 10 more seconds to leave before he was going to do some damage.
It looked like he was going to get up and do something.
It did. At first I was like, hold on, Bishop Ron, what you really going to do to this drug dealer / he might be a pimp too. We don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know this guy. But he did say, you know, he had about 10 more seconds before I did something to him. And that's right, because you're trying to save your sister. And he also makes a mention that when you try to leave something, that's how Satan works. He tries to bring you back in. And even though, you know, you try to get her, they're trying to get her body free, it's going to take a lot longer to get her mind free. And that's true. That's what addiction is. Yeah. It's a spirit. The spirit of addiction. We rebuke thee in the name of Jesus.
Seriously. And I noticed what she said at the table, and it made me feel something in my heart when she said to Ron that she felt like she was forgotten. She thought she was forgotten. And he kind of explained to her, you know, you were never forgotten. You know, we were just praying for you. And I understand where he's coming from. When someone doesn't want to quit drugs, you cannot make them. It's something that they have to want. If they don't want, they're not going to do it. So I think he had to wait and pray and make sure that she wanted this in order for him to help. And he said, of course I want to help. I'm helping all these other people. I want to be able to help my own sister.
Right. And I think for her, I think that's why a lot of people do drugs. You know, when you get to a spot, something has happened to you, something traumatic to the point where you just want to drown it out, and the best way to do it is with drugs. And a lot of times there's a feeling of loneliness and emptiness that comes with that, and it's one of those, nobody really cares anyway. So why don't I just drink my life away, smoke my life away, shoot up my life away? And it's good to know that she's loved, and I think that's part of what, especially as Christians, what we're supposed to do is we just love on people and let them know, like, you're not forgotten. God didn't forget about you. He made you. He loves you. That's why you're here. And don't believe the lie that's being fed into your head that no one cares about you, because that is not the truth.
And, you know, it really breaks my heart, again, because this is a touchy subject for me, that, you know, they get into a place where they feel lonely and they think they're the only one, but especially when they have kids, you know, it's just like, do you know how much this is affecting your kids and hurting your kids to see you in this situation? So Ron even said that to her, you know, you have children, you have a family that loves you. You need to get better for them, for us, for you. You know, it's been too long. Now is your time. You can do this. And he explains to her, we have a house, what do you call them?
A rehab
center with a room already set up for you. You're all set. You just have to accept it and say yes, and you're there. And that's literally what happened.
Right. Finally, after 30 some years, you know, and I'm sure this wasn't the first time that they tried to help her. If your sister's on drugs, you're not just going to wait 30 years before you say something. I'm sure they've tried to help her, but again, I don't think she wanted to come out of it. But at this point, she's feeling sick. She wants to make a difference, and I think she's just tired.
Yeah, and she's 55 years old.
Right.
How much longer can you do this to your body without, you know, it giving up on you?
Right.
So it's great to see that now was the time, and that she accepted it, and she went to the rehab, and they were there with her. And, you know, he kind of told her, you know, we're here for you. And you could
check
tell
on you.
Yeah,
everything.
exactly. You could tell he was trying to get out of there before he started crying. He was like, you know, I don't want to cry, and I'm just going to let you be.
Right. And I wanted to laugh, because you can tell that the sister Cherie is like the, she's like, I don't know if she's older than them, but she's definitely gives off a more older motherly feel when she starts filling out the paperwork for Sean, because Sean is just, she can't do it. And I love how she asked the questions, like, come on, speak up. Like, what'd you say? I got to hear you. What'd you say? Like, the way she's asking her the question, I'm like, that definitely is even if Cherie's not the big sister, she acts like it.
Yeah, she definitely did. But she was serious. She was like, we need to get this out. Like, I know you're high and you're feeling a certain way, but like, this is serious. We need to know exactly what you're on. And it really broke my heart when, you know, not only is she on drugs, but as you mentioned before, she's given herself away to men for money to buy drugs. Right. Like, it's so much that this woman is going through. Right. My heart felt for her. Right. It really did.
And there's a lot of people who have this same story. Same story. And I think for us, it's we have to stay in prayer for people.
Yes.
because
Amen.
this is it's a heavy addiction, like you said. There's a
Amen.
lot that comes with it. You just don't do one drug. It's usually more than that. It's more alcohol addiction, prostitute. There's a lot of other stuff that comes along with this one spirit of addiction.
Yeah.
And so I really hope and pray that Sean is, even now, I hope she's delivered from the addiction, and I hope she doesn't go back to it.
Yeah, I hope Bishop Gibson says, you're clean, you're done, go live in man cave, you can stay away from Compton, you'll be good, you have a man cave has a lot of room.
Right.
She could live well at man cave.
It will no longer be the man cave. It'll be her house, but I
Yes.
think that'll be okay.
And I love the fact that he's a bishop who goes through these things,
right?
But he also lets his congregation know.
Right.
We've seen him preaching, and he was telling his congregation, that we need to strive to save others, not just ourselves. And he said, I have a sister who, I love, and that I would walk across the 7 seas to go and get and save. And it's nice that he's open with what he's really going through. And that's probably why he's doing the show. So not only his congregation, but everyone else could know and could feel the love and know that he's out there to help people.
Right. And I love when preachers especially give their own personal stories and they share about what they've gone through, because I think that's a word for all of us, that we should share what we go through, because it can be a testimony for somebody else. I guarantee you somebody, if not everybody in that congregation, has somebody in their family addicted to something, whether it's drugs or alcohol or sex or food, something. You know somebody who's addicted to something. So the fact that he has been so transparent about that, I really think that it's going to help save somebody. And he even gave a verse from Jude, the book of Jude, and it said something about snatching them out of the fire.
Yes.
And that it's important to do that. And I feel like we all should. Each one, reach one. Let's save somebody today.
Yes. And again,
save someone
that's
today.
why Bishop Gibson is one of my favorites on the show.
Everybody's your favorite.
No. Gibson.
You gonna have one favorite.
Who else did I say was my favorite?
I don't know.
Yeah, you said the Hazlips.
Yeah, the Hazlips are my favorite.
Gibsons are mine.
Okay, so not one of your favorites.
Okay, they're my favorite. I like other ones too.
Okay, you like them, but favorite means one, Fallon.
Okay. Gibsons are my favorite. I declare it. I love them. I want to see more of them, and hopefully we'll see more of them in other shows.
Yes.
Some bishops we didn't see in this episode. We didn't see Jones.
Sure didn't.
We didn't see the Cheneys.
No.
And we didn't see the Hazlips.
Nope, but we're definitely going to see them next episode.
Yes,
according to the what is it? Not the flashbacks, but what happens next episode.
Coming up next on Preachers of L.A.
Right.
All right, so let's talk about predictions.
Okay, let's do it.
Oh, we skipped news and
now,
gossip. We'll
your
have to go to news and
AfterBuzz
gossip
TV
later.
predictions.
So, of course, we see in the predictions for next week that Bishop Jones and his lady friend Loretta are having another talk. I get the feeling that Bishop Noel Jones is not going to marry Loretta. He's not going to be with her.
I don't get that feeling that he's going to
I'm
marry
sorry.
her at all.
And I feel like she's going to try to put an ultimatum on him,
Yeah.
and she's just going to get the short end of the stick. I'm sorry, honey.
I think Jones is going to play his friendship card.
Until they can't play it no more.
He's been going on for 16 years with this friendship card.
Right.
You know what I think's going to happen? I just don't. I feel when somebody has been, friends for that long, or if you want to call it stringing someone along for that long, that's not something you really want to do. I think if he gets married to anyone or settles down with anybody, it's going to be somebody random out of the blue.
It's not
You're
going to
be
be
like,
I'm sorry, honey.
What?
Right.
Probably it's going to be a very strong, firm woman who says, you know what, you ain't playing with my heart. Either you're in or you're out.
Or I'm out.
Yeah,
Peace.
I'm not waiting around no 16 years.
Right.
So.
And then we see the Cheneys, too. We see Maisha Cheney crying. What do you think she's crying about?
Definitely stress.
Okay.
Being a first lady, I don't know exactly what the stress is about, but again, Christy was saying how hard it is, and as what we know of Lady Cheney, she's head of the gospel choir.
Oh yeah.
So that's a lot of pressure. Then you have children, then you're someone's wife, not only someone's wife, a preacher's wife. I feel like something must have happened where she's just like, okay, this is too much responsibility. I don't know how I'm going to do this.
Okay. I think it had something to do with her husband. But not that he did anything wrong to her. Maybe it was some groupies. I don't know, church groupies. I don't know. Something.
I don't know what the Cheneys. You think the Cheneys?
I think somebody might have hurt her feelings because they're trying to get at him. Of course, I don't think he's I think he really absolutely loves his wife.
So in love with her.
I think that might be, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
We will have to wait and see. Do you have any predictions about the Hazelips?
The Hazelips are going to help someone with love because they always do.
They're pretty good.
Right.
Yeah. I want to see some skateboarding from Pastor Hazelip. I want to see him out.
You've seen him the first episode.
A little bit. I want to see more. He's pretty good at what he does.
Yeah,
I want to dive more into his story, learn more about him, and again, Christy. And we need some more Priscilla. I want to see more of her.
She's pretty.
She is. She's beautiful.
She seems really nice.
She does. We didn't see too much of her this episode. She was just by her man's side, but I want to get to know her a little more, her and Christy.
I hope Bishop McClendon, please let her out so we can talk to her and see her.
Yeah, I'm gonna start looking online for you guys to see if we see any stories or anything more about Priscilla, her background, where she's from, what she does. And then wait, we want to do news and gossip. One more thing before we end, before we leave you.
Before we leave.
Okay, so on Oxygen.com, they had another debate with a poll, and the debate was elope or have a big traditional family wedding. Which was better? Should Dietrich have eloped with Dominique, or should they have waited for their big wedding? Okay. And the results are
what?
84% said do it. It's between you two and God.
Go ahead, people. Shout out to all the people on Oxygen.com.
Yeah, 16% said wait for the big wedding.
And y'all don't matter because y'all are wrong.
If I voted personally, I would have said just wait a month. It's 4 weeks. You're killing me. You couldn't wait 4 weeks.
No, then you waited 2 years.
I think there was something. And maybe this is a prediction. I think there was something going on that they didn't fill us in on, that they had to marry a month before the wedding.
You think they was having relations and she's preggers?
Her shirts have been looking pretty big. I'm just saying. Let me know if you guys noticed anything. I'm surprised you didn't say that.
No.
You didn't see any.
Fallon, she had on that tight dress when they went to go.
Yeah, but have you seen all the other scenes? All her shirts have been big.
No, they haven't.
Even the dress that she got married in was big.
That was chill
I was talking to my sister and my cousin. They were like, she has some pretty big
Fallon
shirts
over here
on.
starting over here talking about people pregnant.
I didn't say that. I'm just saying.
Fallon said it. I didn't say it, Dietrich and Dominique. Fallon said it.
So we will see. Let me know what you guys think out there. Do you think there was another reason why they got married so quick, or like Megan said, they just couldn't wait 4 weeks? And like everybody else voted,
Yeah. You hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Meg Scoop, like scoop of ice cream, because I definitely want to know what you guys think about Preachers of L.A.
And you guys can find me online on Instagram and Twitter. I haven't been tweeting much, but I'm going to start tweeting more about the show. Yay. You guys can find me at Fit with Fallon, and we will see you next time. And hopefully next time we will have some of the executive producers in the show.
Ooh.
And I'm working on Dietrich.
I'm going to grill
We might have him in here. So
I'm going to grill him good, honey.
It'll be good. So if you guys continue to watch us every Thursday, 8 p.m. Pacific time. Oh, and the Preachers will be on Arsenio Hall tonight. So check
October
your
31st tonight.
TVs.
Yes.
And all of them are going to be on. So we'll have to watch that. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later. Hallelujah.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.